Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Disney Cast podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Faith, and that is
Angel right here. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone had a great holiday.
We survived
Yep,
2020.
we did it. Everyone's had a great day. Today currently is Saturday, December 32nd.
Brother, this guy stinks!
No,
What a great joke.
I haven't heard this one before, right, guys?
Hey, at least we didn't hear really any of the, I haven't showered since last year.
Oh, yeah.
Those were always
I'll
the worst.
text you next year, guys. I haven't seen you in a whole year. I think it's because everyone's trying to fast forward till now.
Honestly.
What's gonna happen this year?
I think everyone, hopefully just nothing but positive things, because I feel like 2020 definitely was the ringer of them all.
Yeah.
For a lot of us. So.
Oh, God. The next day there's gonna be.
But today.
There's gonna be another war next year. Tomorrow. We're like, it's gonna be a great day, guys. It's gonna be a great year. We said that last year as well.
Yeah, I don't know, but let's hope for nothing but good things.
Yes.
Let's put that in the universe, and nothing but good vibes. Manifest that the good ideas, whatever may come about, will come about, and it will be fine.
Exactly. But
today is actually a super exciting episode because we're finally talking about Disney Plus.
Yes, because last week whenever, 2 weeks ago, we were teasing that. We were talking about Disney Plus.
So today I had a little bit of homework Angel gave me to watch Soul, because it just came out a few days ago on Disney Plus, and I was definitely hesitant about it at first just because it seemed like a real tearjerker, and I'm not the one that likes sad movies whatsoever, but I can thoroughly, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it.
It was pretty good, yeah. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, because we'll get into more spoilery stuff later. I don't want everyone to leave yet.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it now. Everyone's gonna leave. Speaking of people, we had 18 dislikes. I don't know who any of you guys were. I didn't say anything bad. I did. I guess my comments about Future World were they stung a little bit people.
Yeah, so those 18 people, man. Yikes.
We're already starting drama. We're doing a YouTuber speed run. We already did the channel, and now we're doing drama. Now we have to do the apology video.
We're definitely new to this. We're learning as we go. But I have a mic this week.
Yeah, she doesn't sound like a robot anymore. She's like, "Hi, my name is Faith, and welcome." So it's good now.
So hopefully that will get more likes, thumbs up rather than thumbs down. I hope it was just the mic, but we shall see.
It's fine. We're already starting drama. I have to do my apology video. Hold on, let me do it.
Yeah, it keeps things interesting for sure.
Hold on. I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't think I should have made this video, but I have done wrong, and I'm sorry. I've said things about Epcot that I don't believe. That Future World is great, and I'm sorry. Anyways,
That's why I said I love Epcot. You gotta put the good vibes out in there, and they come back to you.
It's not my fault. Whatever.
It is your fault. You don't like that part.
Actually, I love it. Right, guys? Right? 18 dislikes. It probably wasn't even for that. It's probably for something else.
Back to this week's topic is Disney Plus. Steer us right back into the right direction. So Angel, what is your favorite thing about Disney Plus so far?
I'm thinking. I don't know. I think I guess because we have finally an area we can all watch Disney related stuff all at once. Because it used to be everywhere. It used to be just spread out everywhere. And now it can be I can watch Avengers, and I have one place to watch all those movies at once, which is good. Especially with the Pixar movies too. A lot of the Pixar movies are spread out. I can't say anything. I can't say anything good about the originals yet, the Disney Plus originals, because there aren't any. There's 2. There's the Mandalorian.
They're slowly coming. I think Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's such a new platform still that they're still trying to figure out like how they want to make themselves different from all the other streaming services that are provided. Like, I actually just saw they're merging with Hulu and stuff now, but they definitely need to make a distinction between them, Netflix, Amazon Prime, because for like a streaming service, Netflix definitely has, I think, the best originals.
Yeah.
And I think Disney could definitely learn from how Netflix is doing that, and it will just help them grow their streaming services above and beyond all the other ones, because you already have a diehard Disney community, family, like all that stuff.
Die Hard. There's 18 dislikers.
Diehard.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore.
But if you were to put like original content out, I think it would definitely help the platform astronomically.
Yeah, because there is. Just when it first started, I got it when it first started. There wasn't much. I used it for I think about 2-3 days, and I was like, oh, there isn't anything new and fresh. And I think that's like something that has to be, especially if like people now, we all want to see like new stuff all the time. Because I
am definitely like, oh, go ahead. You're good.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I was saying that because
I'll raise my hand the next time.
Yeah. But I was saying that it's good to have all these old Disney movies and all that stuff, but it gets too much where I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch Avengers again. I don't want to watch the same like Pixar movies, because from now, at least until now, that's all it's been. And for the price, it's good, but I think having in more stuff, rather like more originals that pop out, because if you say Disney Plus originals besides Soul and The Mandalorian, and I guess Mulan, but there hasn't been anything that's like, oh, have you seen this and that? Because there are some really good originals. Because I recommend watching The Imagineering Story. That's really good, especially if you like podcasts and like history and all that stuff. That's really. But anything that's not like writing home, like Netflix has a lot of stuff like Stranger Things. They have The Queen's Gambit.
Well, they've been around a lot longer.
Yeah.
So I think it just comes with time. But for me, I love Disney Plus because it's just such a nostalgic feeling when you're scrolling through and you're finding all these old movies that you grew up with as a kid, like all the old princess movies. Yes, they've been redone for like a lot of them have become like the live action ones and stuff like that. But I think just being able to have a hold of those older movies that we grew up with, watched with our families, our siblings, like I think that's a really cool feeling, just because it gives you a sense of your childhood back again. And what I loved mostly about Disney Plus when I started my own profile off of your account, thank you very much.
Oh yes.
Is
her thing is her icon is a baby Yoda, and she named it.
Oh yeah,
Nug.
of course. Yeah, of course, 100%. Still haven't changed it. What I loved is like all the old TV shows that you had readily available to you too. Like you had The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, and those like. For me were my nights after school. Like I looked forward to watching TV and watching those episodes come out new weekly. Like that was my childhood. So having a service that really brings you back into your younger years, I love Disney Plus. I don't think I have
I enjoy it too.
I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about it. But honestly, I think, as you said, Netflix, yes, they do offer more, but I think it's just going to take time for Disney Plus to really just amp up their game a little bit with creating that new content. But I think they'll definitely get there. No problems. No questions.
They have a very exciting, like, a next couple of years where they're going to keep releasing stuff, which is good. And I think because a lot of stuff will be released on Disney Plus rather than theaters, because theaters are slowly dying. Not slowly, they are dying, and that's why there's been a lot.
It's unfortunate. Like,
yeah, I love it. I miss it. I miss the theater experience, especially like when like new movies come out. Like everyone's excited. Everyone's like bouncing off each other and yelling at each other.
You feed off of the other people's. You feed off of the other people's energy in the room. Like I remember, I went opening night. Obviously, I went opening night to Infinity War and Endgame, and I think those two were like the most impactful movies and on an audience in a live theater thing. Like you could just tell, like when a certain part was coming up, you could just feel like the energy in the room. It's like, holy crap, this is like an intense scene, like it's a tearjerker, you get like your laugh out loud moments. So I you definitely miss the atmosphere of going to the movie. I do. I loved
Yeah,
going to the
no,
movies
I
even
miss it
though it
too.
was insanely expensive, but you do miss it. It's not the same watching it at home. It's not the same effect.
Because I feel like going to a theaters, at least for me, was kind of like an event. It was like something to
Hmm.
look forward to. It's like, oh, because I don't really go to the theaters
Yeah.
as much. Because there's like sometimes like I'm not going to go to the movies to watch like whatever, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, or something like that, or like a random movie. I would go if it's like the big exciting movie that's gonna come out, and it would be like a big event. Everyone would go. We would save up
Yeah, you
for
would look
months for
forward
the
to it.
popcorn. We would,
Yeah, like you as soon as they sent like put out that release date, it was something you looked forward to. Like with all the like the whole Marvel franchise, with the whole Star Wars franchise, like you looked forward to those dates and you're like, okay, next part is coming out then.
yeah,
Like we have so many more months, but it's something to look forward to.
no, exactly. And I
And I
think,
love everything movies related, so
yeah, no, I'm a huge movie guy as well. And I think with streaming, I feel like the whole like the entire landscape is gonna be changed to everything's whole movie now. Like everything's gonna be, oh, watch Wonder Woman. It's gonna be on HBO Max. Watch Soul. It's gonna be on Disney Plus. Like
Mhm.
streaming services and VODs are all, especially now because of the pandemic. That's really changed everything. Because like
Yeah.
same thing with Mulan. Like that
I think
was their thing.
yeah. I think that was smart though. Like when you think about it, like releasing Mulan in the time that they did release it, I think it was a very smart move for Disney Plus because they increased their revenue so much because you had to pay that $30. But when you think about it, if you have a family of like four or five, that's still cheaper than going to a movie
Yeah,
theater for
no, it
it.
is.
So like when you have that mindset of it, granted, yes, if you live alone and you're like, oh, I get to spend $30 on a movie, great. Like, yes, that kind of sucks, but it is meant for families and it is like something you want to do with other people. So if you have like a Zoom watch party and you all pitch in for like Mulan and stuff like that, like there's ways you can get creative about it and still make it an event with you staying at home and streaming it at home.
Or you can just wait like me, wait till 2-3 months and watch it then. I have a big
I
feeling that for Black Widow, like we haven't heard much anything about that movie in a while. I
Mhm.
have a feeling that they're just gonna put it on there on Disney Plus, similar to how they did with Soul.
Yeah, like they didn't really like announce much of it. I think honestly that's their best bet because once people like you want word to travel by mouth of like their own like watchers and their own like customers. So instead of them wasting all this money on advertisements and saying like, "Oh, this is what we have coming out." Just let your customers do that work for you
Yeah,
because if they see it, oh, new on Disney Plus, they're going to talk to their friends about it. They're going to talk to their families about it. They're going to post about it once they watch it. Like, oh my gosh, this was so good. Like, they'll post all the feedback. So if you have that strong of a fan base for your streaming service already, you don't have to waste all that money in advertisements.
I think that's what Netflix does, because there hasn't been like, let's say like for something that just came out recently, The Queen's Gambit. Like there hasn't been, I haven't seen an advertisement for it. Like my advertising
Hmm.
is through people talking about how invested in the show they are, and I think Disney's gonna try to do something
Yeah.
like that as well. Same thing in The Mandalorian. Like everyone
Hmm.
like that started out.
I still haven't watched season two.
Yeah, she's behind. It's a good
I'm
season
behind. I'm
though.
a little
That's been something that's kept Disney Plus like afloat. Like something that's like a very
behind.
like episodic, high quality, and I
I
think,
mean, Jon Favreau is amazing.
yeah,
So
he's really good. He's really good.
you have to expect it.
But I think the next like big budget, because besides Mandalorian, there hasn't been a big budget movie. Because have you seen Godmother?
I have not.
No, I saw it. It's kind of like Enchanted. It's kind of like Enchanted in a way,
I saw the trailer of it. Yeah.
and it was good. It was like a nice holiday wholesome movie.
Mhm.
But I think in terms of like big budget, the next one is gonna be WandaVision, and that's gonna be in this month. It's gonna be this month.
I'm really excited for that actually. Like I saw a few different like teaser trailers and stuff like that, but I just think they're filming it and how like it looks like a throwback sort of like film like
Mm-hmm.
there's so much like about it like the aesthetic of it is just so appealing to me, like the retro part of it. And I think Wanda and Vision are amazing. Like I wish they had bigger roles in the movies because powerful people, like they're both powerful characters. So you would want to more from them in like the big pictures, but I'm glad they got like their own little spin-off. I
Yeah,
think it
no,
was
I'm excited to see
much
how
needed.
it goes, and it's good. Like we finally like I'm excited to see how Marvel does a show because we've seen how DC does shows and stuff like that. DC, Star Wars, they've done shows, so I'm excited to see how another big budget studio does like a TV. So that's exciting.
I'm excited for the TV shows. Like you have the Hawkeye show coming out, you have Loki, a lot of characters that just they were in the films, and yes, you know their story, but there's still so much more in depth that you can go within those characters that it's just gonna help that franchise growing even more and like the fan base even grow even more.
Yeah, no, it's
Because
good.
I'm a huge Loki girl, so I'm excited for that.
As long as the Hawkeye show doesn't have him with that hair from Endgame, we'll be good.
But Thor still was done the dirtiest in Endgame.
Yeah.
He definitely was. So I can like pass on Hawkeye's hair, but Thor, come on.
He played Fortnite. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty epic gamer.
Talking about like shows and originals from Disney Plus. So far with Mandalorian I've watched season 1 and it was slow, I thought, in my opinion, just because like with Star Wars you're so used to such fast-paced storylines that some episodes it just kind of felt like they were dragging on. However, I thought they did a really good job with like the atmosphere of the show. Like I personally liked all the act that they had on the show. The costuming was amazing. The signs, all that stuff. It was beautifully done, I think. And it definitely, I don't want to say the aesthetic of it again, but like
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It was just done so beautifully, I think, that you just want to keep watching. Yeah.
Like technology, they really tested out with that. They have an original, the gallery. That's interesting. Like where they have the behind the scenes. That's a really good watch too. I
need to watch that still.
They have that one and they have the Frozen 2 one. And the Frozen 2 one, so it's really that's really interesting. That's really interesting because you see how.
Oh yeah, learning what goes into like how many hours of work from each individual person that works on a project. It's insane when you go behind the scenes of just like the blood, sweat, and tears that literally gets poured into these films and TV shows and all that stuff.
And it's crazy. Like you can be like, oh, like this song was really good. And, like, watching the gallery, like the Frozen 2 gallery, you can see, like, oh, like, Show Yourself was so last minute. But it's such a pivotal song. It's crazy. Like, how much work they did and how little time they had, too. Like, to pull off all that stuff. And it was crazy.
Yeah. Okay, I was just going to say, I remember, because my aunt works for Disney, and she works on movies and all that stuff. So I always remember her saying, like, how crazy of days she would spend in her office, like, hours at a time, like, just looking at a screen to get a movie to where it should be. Like I don't think so many people don't realize so much work and effort gets poured into these things, and people are so easily criticize these. I think they're masterpieces, honestly. Like even if you like the plot of the movie or not, like the animation and the intricate detail that goes into literally every little thing in the scenes and the characters in every little aspect, you have to give it props regardless if you like the movie or TV show or not.
No, like they really flexed their muscle. Which we'll talk about that stuff as well, especially in Soul, because Soul really outdid themselves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Soul, it did come out.
So
I need a transition. I don't have any sponsors to be like. Speaking of, this is sponsored by Audible. Speaking of Audible, Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul. Soul just came out on Disney Plus. But first, the rest of the podcast spoils the entire movie of Soul. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend clicking off and coming back when you've seen it. Now, back to the show. But that just came out on Christmas.
Yeah, so that was my homework for today.
Yeah, this was her homework. She hasn't seen it. I saw it when it first came out. I just wanted to, because I had a lot of expectations, just because it was a Pixar movie that wasn't a sequel, and that had a different. It just felt different. It was built different, as what some people say.
Yeah. So at first, I was definitely hesitant. Like I had mentioned to you earlier, I was hesitant to watch it just because I don't love sad movies. Like, I'm not ever the one that's like, "Oh, let's watch this movie so I can cry." Like, I and Disney does that sometimes too, definitely. Like, Up bawled my eyes out in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like, I was nervous and hesitant that it was just gonna be such, like, kind of a darker movie in a
Mm-hmm.
sense, but after watching it, I genuinely enjoyed it. Like, it definitely makes you think about life, and it makes you think about how you're spending your day to day and like what you want your purpose in life to be, because they talk a lot about passion and what drives you day to day. And I think even just the powerful scenes in the movie, it was so small yet it hit me the most is when, this isn't really a spoiler, it's just when like
No, we
they're
can
on
go.
the
We can go into
subway.
spoilers. It's fine because
It's
you're
like when
getting
they're
into
on
it.
the
I was like, wait, do we
subway.
start? Do we have a spoiler warning? So, spoiler warning, I guess. He dies.
It's like, oh my gosh. Well, it's like when they're sitting on the subway and they're kind of just, they did like a panoramic shot of like the subway and how everyone is just either on their phone in a bad mood. Like, you can just tell like the life has been sucked out of these characters. And I think that's definitely the scene that just hit me the most, because there's so many days in our lives that I feel like a lot of us are just kind of on autopilot and we're not really paying attention to what we're doing, like set like minute to minute. So it definitely is a movie that makes you think about how you're spending your day-to-day lives and how you don't want to waste away your time doing stuff that doesn't bring genuine joy to you.
Yeah, and I think that it was cool. It was interesting to have a message like that.
Hmm.
It felt very more adultish, which is a good
Yeah.
thing. It's cool to see, like, especially like this company that's more geared towards children, kids, and all that stuff, to have a more mature, because Pixar always has mature tones, but it still has a very
Hmm.
like kid, like the movies are still very kid oriented, but this one felt more
Hmm.
like, it felt more mature, especially with the message, and a lot of it felt very mature. And that's because I think because we had someone that was on the older side. Joe was he was like someone in his like 30s, just like going through like a mini midlife crisis and having stuff like that.
I definitely think he was older than 30.
I don't know how old he is. There's someone probably knows. I don't know. Someone's like, actually, he's 25. And I think,
No, oh, go ahead.
but I think the trailer didn't do its justice. If you've seen the trailer, it doesn't really show like what the movie is about. Like, the trailer just seemed like it was just gonna be how he was just gonna be in the soul area, like in his soul form for a big majority of the movie, and that actually caused a lot of
Hmm.
controversy. People thought it was gonna be like Princess and the Frog, and I'm glad it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to see like
Yeah, I
how New York was and all that stuff, and it was cool to see. Like, and we'll talk about the animation in a
I
second.
think they did a I think story-wise, like you said, the trailer doesn't match up with how the movie actually is, and I think that's a good thing, because the trailer is what kind of threw me off and was like, "Oh, I don't know if I really want to watch this. Like, I don't know if this is a movie for me." But then when you kept saying like, "Oh, watch it, watch it, watch it," like, trust me, and I'm like, "Okay." So, after watching it, like, I'm glad I did, and it definitely makes you think about life and the bigger meaning of life and what you are doing, not just because he like dies and like it's stuff like that, but he, like, the obstacles that he faces, the life decisions he makes about his career, his life choices. It shows his mother and son relationship, how he treats his day-to-day people, like his hairdresser, and like it's just little things like that that it pays attention to your human connection with other people, regard not just yourself. So you're making connections with everyone you meet on a day-to-day basis. So I don't know, I feel like I'm babbling, but I don't know,
Yeah,
there's
stop
just so
babbling.
much to say about this movie.
And that's good. I think that's amazing.
There's just
Having
so
like having a discussion, it's great, especially now because I feel like Disney has had a track record that there weren't a lot of movies that weren't memorable. Cause like
much.
let's say
Hmm.
like, oh, you remember watching Onward, and everyone's like, man, it was okay, and that's it. Like they watch it and they dropped it and like it's whatever.
I
So
loved Onward.
no, I liked it too, but there wasn't like no, it was just there. And like a lot of the movies are like
Yeah,
that too. Like, do you remember Nutcracker?
I I didn't watch Nutcracker.
Yeah,
actually.
I don't think anyone else did either. Like that just came out like I think 2 years ago, and I think that had like Disney has a lot like that issue where like the same thing like with Ralph Breaks the Internet, no one's really talked about it. They saw it and then they dropped it, and I feel like that makes. I would rather have a movie like be horrendously bad if it has someone like at least talk about it. Because a movie can be all right. Like like Wreck-It Ralph 2, it was okay. But that's it. That's it. I saw the movie and I left. And then that's it. It made money.
I think the thing to point out the most about Soul is it left an impact on you after you watch it.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like you were saying, kind of has lacked in the past few years of Disney and stuff. So I think because we're getting to a time in our lives where there are issues that the world is dealing with and they're not going away and we can't ignore them. So I think it's a good way to kind of infiltrate those into the media that our younger generations are watching, because it sparks up those conversations. It sparks up those ideas that everyone is the same at the end of the day. And it has those important conversations of like how life is different for everyone. Like, I think a really important scene in the movie is the hairdresser scene where he goes to discuss like his hardships that he had. Like, I think he like in the Navy or like military.
Yeah, he was in the Navy.
And then, he was in the Navy, and then he was having issues coming up with money for his daughter that was dealing with medical things. And then he went to barber school because it was cheaper and stuff like that. So I think even just those subtle like plot lines in the movie, it makes you think about like, wow, this is something that someone is dealing with in real life, and it is something that should be talked about, is those hardships and how life isn't always rainbows and butterflies. And I think Soul did a good job of kind of showing both sides to that in a very balanced manner.
And it was cool to see just like living just a normal like day, like people just talking, especially like we can talk about the barbershop scene. That was really cool. Like everyone was just chilling. It was great. Like you saw like the what's his name, Daveed Diggs, that he was a character there, so it was cool to see him and all that stuff. And it was a good scene, yeah. And then it got sucked up, like it was Get Out, like he was like trapped in the void.
I know. Oh my gosh, I literally was thinking that when I was watching, and I'm like, this is just like Get Out, like.
But it was good. And then like I guess we can talk about the animation now. And the animation, I think this has been Pixar's best, because I think they've like with Coco is really good. Coco, like especially like landscape wise, it was really good. And Toy Story 4 too. Toy Story 4, I think they flexed their muscle cinematically, showing a lot of those like cinematic shots, but it wasn't really anything like abstract or like super creative. But I think with Soul, they were like, all right, it's time. Like we have to like flex. They went all out. They bench pressed 250, and they were like, all right, we're doing it. Cause like they did everything. Like they like, especially that scene where he first falls, like from the like from the treadmill or whatever it's called, like down there, like the scene where it just shows all the quick changes of animation where he falls into the grate before was really cool. Like I was like, what the heck? And it really reminded me of the scene in Inside Out. That scene in Inside Out where they.
I was gonna say, yeah. I think the facial features of the characters within Soul mimicked a lot of what the Inside Out characters looked like. It was a very similar animation. It was just kind of like picked up a few notches. But as you were saying, yeah, it was just, I think it was beautifully done. Yeah,
it was really cool. And I like the designs of everyone. Like the Jerrys and Terry was really cool. Like seeing like how like I want to learn how that goes. Like they were like flipping their arms and all that stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's very abstracty, like you were saying.
It was really abstracty.
It made you think of like a painting that we would look at in school or something
like
that.
No, it had like, especially like Jerry, like the first Jerry we see, like she had a very like the logo of Mac. Like you know, like the logo of Mac had like the thing. It really reminded me of that. And like some Picasso vibes too.
Yeah. I think what I loved about like the animation and all that stuff the most were the aerial shots of New York City. How it was showing like Central Park and then the city skyline, the busy streets. It looked like a real shot of New York.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like if you told me that was animation, if you put like a real shot and then the animated shot, you probably couldn't even tell the difference. No. Like that's how good that animation was.
Especially like the scene where he's having his we're going full spoilers. If you haven't seen we already spoiled the whole movie. But if you like the scene where he's having his
Yeah, you
epiphany,
gotta
like
put
where
like a
he's
warning.
yeah, where he's having his epiphany, like when when he like when him and 22 split up, that scene, like where it has like the aerial shot of New York, like that, it looks real, and it was crazy, like how far everything's come. Like I said, I think this has been Pixar's best animation wise. It's been their best, like cinematically and like creatively as well, because this is where they really went off creatively. And the music was really cool
No,
too.
I
I
agree.
really enjoyed the music. Like I like how the
That's
different
one
like
thing I wish they had more of. I really wish they had more music just because it's such a vibe. Like jazz music just makes you happy, I think. And it shows like I like the part where it shows like him and his dad. It like shows back to where he first went to the jazz club for the first time. I love that scene because it really does show the dad expresses how it showed, oh, this is a part of American culture that we contributed to. So I liked that little snippet of showing like, hey, this is what we've given to this culture, because you look back and I don't think it really gets the credit that it should, because jazz music is huge. Like, yes, granted, you don't hear it on a radio station all day, every day, but it has such like a powerful message behind it. And I think just having that little anecdote of the father and son moment of where he really does find his passion for in life, I think that was just a really powerful scene as well.
Yeah, no, the soundtrack was really good. I liked how, like, when you're on, like, they have those Earth scenes, like it was filled with jazz and all that stuff. But when they were in the Great Before, like that's where like they were. It had like a very Tomorrowland, like the Tomorrowland music. It felt like that.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like a Tomorrowland, like futuristic, like music, and it was good.
Kind of gave me like elevator music vibes.
Yeah.
Like, what would you rate it? What would your overall rating be?
I would say like an 8.5. 8.5. It was good.
Okay, you scored it higher than me.
Yeah.
I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
Of course, like I feel like with flaw, like I don't know like what inherent like is a big flaw in the movie, because I've seen it I think about like 3 times, because I saw it with my family. And I think, I don't know, like I could be like, oh, the art style is so gross. It's not like, but that's what they were going for. Because there's sometimes where some of the characters are like, oh, ugh. But like that's what they were going for. I think it really matches like with how like New York is, like how like urban. I can't be like, I sound like, it can be like, oh, this is urban. But like it reminds me of like those caricatures.
True. It's like that street style sort of thing.
That's what I mean, like the street vibe, because it reminds me of like those caricatures that you get like at the parks. They have it at the parks too, like they have it at New York boardwalks of like those characters with the giant faces, and it reminded me of that. And I feel like it's a lot more unique as well, and especially with like stuff from like Walt Disney Studios, like Frozen, Tangled, like that has like they all look the same. A lot of the princesses do look the same.
They're kind of like that cookie cutter sort of movie.
Yeah,
where
but I like that art style as well.
Change it up a little.
But I think this one had a lot more. It's a lot more unique. It's like, oh, this is more. It stands out. I can't think of like what was bad.
I think for me, because I rated it a 7 out of 10, it would just be because, yes, it had a lot of important messages, and I think they did a good job about that. But I felt like they could have talked about maybe more of the music, more of the culture behind the music, because I think that was a huge part. Music was 90% of the movie. Like that was what his livelihood was about. So I think they could have done a little bit more with just giving like the background of that and the background of what, like they showed little parts with him and his dad. And I know that's why like music meant so much to him because of his father figure. But I think they could have talked about that a little bit more, just because that is another vital topic that sort of lacks in movies, is kind of like that father-son relationship, especially in like different communities and stuff like that. I think it's just something that should have been talked about a little bit more. But other than that, like it's nothing like huge for me. It's just like little things here or there.
No,
like,
yeah, it's
like I said,
animation.
Stuff. We're all our own critics, but I definitely think to get the ball rolling with their originals for the movies and stuff that Disney Plus is gonna be slowly releasing, I think it was a good start.
Yeah, this was a really good idea to put it on Disney, especially for Christmas, because we knew, like, we all know we were gonna be stuck inside for Christmas, so it was good to have like
Hmm.
something to watch. Like, oh, this is new. We can watch this on Disney Plus and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I know HBO Max had Wonder Woman, which I saw as well. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was alright. Wonder Woman.
I'm not a DC girl. Marvel all the way.
Yeah, I just like movies. I just watch any type of movie. Like, I'm a huge movie person. Especially, like, I always want to see, like, how each streaming service is, like, competing with each other. It's so cool to see, like, oh, HBO Max, we're going to release Wonder Woman, and we're going to put this there. We're going to do, like, a movie, because with their thing, with HBO Max, they're going to put their movies on their service while also being in the theaters. Like, during which is interesting. It's really interesting to see how they're fighting the whole drought of the movie theaters and stuff.
I mean, like you said, they're kind of slowly dying. It's sad, but it's just sort of a thing in the past now. I think there's so many theaters like by us that aren't even open right now.
Yeah.
You go to there's maybe two open, like the one in Springs and then the one in City Walk. Like those are literally the only two I know that are
I think
open
so.
at the moment.
I just missed the popcorn. Like, when I was at the parks,
yeah,
you just smell the popcorn. I'm like, oh, this is good. I
miss getting those huge ices.
Oh yeah.
For like $8.
Did you? What I do? I get popcorn, and then I also get like the little crunch bites, and you mix those together, and that's really good.
Oh yeah, it's like the sweet and salty sort of thing. Yeah.
That's so good. I could do it here, but it's not the same.
From the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, sneak in candy. I'm not gonna pay $4 for a box of Sour Patch Kids. Like, that's so stupid to me.
No, it is. But the reason they do that is because that's how they get their money. That's how theaters get. That's how they get their revenue. Because studios take so much from them.
But I'd rather just sneak in my Dollar Tree candy. So.
No, me too. That was our little review of Soul. Like, we recommend it. It was really good. And I think a thing that's gonna hurt them the most is how mature the message is, especially for kids. Like, it's gonna be kind of hard for kids to engage with it.
But my thing with that is then, say the kids are watching it with their parents. The parents are going to get the message. So hopefully afterwards, not that you're going to do like a movie review with your kids, but you should reflect on it with them. Like, so what did you think about that? Because then it sparks up that conversation between you and your kids about a deeper message that you wouldn't necessarily maybe think to talk to them about. But Disney's kind of helping spark that conversation, I think, with it.
They're like, Mommy, do I die? What happens when I die, Mom? They're like, oh no, what's going on? And I think with past movies, like with Coco, like their message of like family is important. That's easier for kids to digest. I don't know, like this message is a lot more mature than the past movies that they've had, and I think that's good. I think that was a great thing. Because with Onward, their message was really good too, like how like family is important, stuff like that. Especially like the Brother Bond movie, not Brother Bear, but Brother Bond.
No, yeah,
but I'm excited to see what they have next, like Pixar.
Like you said earlier, Pixar has definitely done a better job, I think, with those deeper topics. So hopefully it just continues on from here, and they learn that it's okay to make movies with those deeper topics because it does spark that conversation, but it does it in more of a lighthearted way rather than it just kind of shoving it all in your face like, hey, this is life. Like, yes, it sucks at times, but here you go.
Yeah.
But they do it in a way that makes you laugh. It makes you cry happy tears. It makes you think in ways that you wouldn't have thought about before. So.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're doing like actual, like they're doing original stories and all that stuff. Cause that, like the past few, like not before, like pre-Coco, like when they had only sequels, that was rough. I think that was rough.
Yeah, I definitely think like the creative departments are slowly stepping up just because there's always comments like, oh, everything's already been done. But I don't think so. There's always new stories out there. It's just a matter of listening to those people who have those stories, because you could have like a very well-known person come up with something that's so similar to another movie, yet you have this underground writer that is trying to pitch this idea but no one's listening to them, but it could be an amazing idea. So I think they definitely just have to like mix up their pool of writers and creative people that help get those ideas flowing rather than it just being like, oh, let's make Toy Story 5, Incredibles 3. Like, granted, yes, like you will always have people that love those sequels and all that stuff.
It's moneymakers too.
they love like the originality of the first ones, but then the storylines like they just get drawn out.
I thought you were gonna say they love money. Because they do.
Well, they do. Like,
because they do.
they obviously do.
I like Toy Story 4. Oh, Toy Story 4 it's such a debate. I liked it. I didn't think it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the message for what it was, and the animation was really good too. Especially like the scenes like when there was just like the people scenes and the scenes like the scene with like when it was raining at the beginning. That was really cool. Like seeing how it was raining.
It's crazy just when like you put like side to side like Toy Story 1 versus Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
And how, granted, yes, it was like 10 plus years or something like that, but it's crazy how much things have changed, and you can see them so noticeably.
That's it. Yeah, that was our little overview of Disney Plus. Our review of Soul, spoilers and all. And I think that was our little basis of the episode of the show today. Of the episode.
I definitely do enjoy Disney Plus, and I think it is a service that's just going to go up from here, as we've seen in the past few months with how Disney Plus has added stuff like sporadically, not really with any given dates, without any set schedule. I think it's only going to go up from here. I think they're only going to gain viewers. They're going to gain those customers.
They're going to gain price. They're going to increase the price. Please, why?
Yeah.
Come on.
Obviously, they're going to. If their competitors are more, they can definitely
Netflix
get away
is like $20 now.
If you have like the family one, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want them to increase price, please. But
obviously not.
This year's gonna be good.
I want to pay more.
Like they're gonna have WandaVision. WandaVision comes out I think 2-3 weeks from now. Falcon and the Winter Soldier come out in I think a few months.
I'm excited for that one too.
I'm excited to see more stuff, and I hope they do more documentary type things too. Like the Imagineering story was really good. Like I enjoyed that one thoroughly.
Yeah, because people love seeing like behind the scenes of the magic. Like I think that's more for like your older viewers of Disney Plus, but then that gives you a wider audience. Like you're kind of appealing to all different ages on this one platform. So I think that's very smart for them to do something like that and put those documentary type shows in, because people eat that stuff up. Like
I haven't seen.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, Tiger King was good. Tiger King. I don't know what else they did.
Yeah.
The Fire Festival one was really funny, and that was really good too.
Another documentary thing on Netflix was like the Ted Bundy stuff. Like people love those type of shows because it's informative. It's topics that they want to know more about, and it's like I feel like sometimes people are like, "Oh, I don't watch a lot of TV because it's not great." But like, I feel like if you watch like a documentary, you're like, "Smart! I'm watching something that's teaching me stuff."
Yeah, I'm learning.
So they think differently.
I'm learning how to stage a murder, guys. I think that's it though. I think we're good. I don't know what we're talking about. We talk about murder, true crime.
Oh, I love true crime. But anyways, like Angel was saying earlier before I cut him off again, the basis of the show is just kind of talking about all things Disney. Like we said in episode 1, reach out to us if you want to be a part of this. We do have a few episodes coming up with different friends that we're excited to have on the show. It's still kind of crazy with everyone's schedule because the holidays just ended, the new year just started. But definitely you'll be seeing new faces hopefully by next episode, which is super exciting. Yeah.
Yes, but like what you said, if you just message us if you if you have any ideas or anything like that, comment below. Don't dislike, please.
I was gonna say, hopefully don't dislike. Watch us get like 20 dislikes on this one.
Oh no. I have to do another apology video.
Nope, we're speaking goodness into the atmosphere. It's gonna be great.
Into the atmosphere. Here.
Podcast.
Spray it.
There you go. Bye.
Get the Febreze. But thank you for listening.
You guys for watching and listening. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, thank you for listening. I hope, like I said, the people who listened all the way, thank you. Leave us comments, likes, all that. Make sure you share it. We're trying to branch out our stuff. If you have people in your family who enjoy the Disney type stuff, and especially in a what is it, like what are we, like Gen X, the cool Gen X kids, the TikTokers. I don't know.
We're Gen Z.
That's Gen Zers. We have TikTok. But if you want to do that, share. Really go ahead and share. We're always happy. We're always appreciate that stuff. But this has been Angel, and my lovely co-host Faith. hope everyone has a great day, or whenever you listen to. Great weekend, if it is the weekend for you. All right.
All right, well, adios, guys.
Yeah, adios.